So life's a lot, right? But let's air fry some chicken. Thank you to Tyfer for sponsoring today's video. Welcome back again today, Jam Fam. Look at us. We got, how much meat do we even have here? That's 8, 10, 20. We got about 28 pounds of meat, and we're gonna have a real good time. We also got 4 watermelons, 4 cantaloupes, 4 pounds of bacon, some grated Parmesan cheese. We're doing a massive large family meal prep for my family of 10, and we're gonna have a real good time. So I worked on saving as much as I could on the per pound price of meat. You know, I'm always into how much a pound of meat costs. So these chicken breasts, I was going to do bacon wrapped chicken tenderloins. Those were, can't remember what they were at Costco now. I'm going to say somewhere between $5 and $7 a pound. And these boneless, skinless, trimmed chicken breasts were only $2.99 a pound. So I'm just going to slice these down into chicken tender sizes and wrap them in bacon. And we have some spices we're gonna use, that's delicious. Also for the steak bites, now sirloin was $15 or so per pound. You know the price of steak goes way up there. So I was able to get this almost 8-pound sirloin roast for $9.99 a pound. Now, we're gonna get a whole lot of dinners out of this. I'm also hopeful that we'll get a pot of rice going on the stove to do some steak and rice bowls. But we're gonna get going with the chicken first. So I just wanted to bring my hunk of sirloin out to show you. We will get to slicing this down. We're gonna start with the chicken and have many adventures from there. I was thinking through slicing down this much meat. A lot of chopping. We're doing a lot of chopping, but I just figured I'm gonna do it on my full-size sheet pans. That'll take care of a lot. Then we'll get an assembly line going with our bacon and a bowl of spices and all of those good things. And chopping, move it onto that sheet pan. I'll need these sheet pans for other adventures. We might get a couple full-size sheet pans going. I'm always into workflow, so I'm just thinking about the best ways to set this up. Stay down there, sheet pan. Set the chicken breast up here. We will slice them here. And then I might move them onto this sheet pan, and on here have the pile of the sliced chicken breast and the bacon and our bowl of spices. This is some baking adventures from the other day that I didn't get put away yet. So we'll scooch that. I'll go to the other side and pull that down a little more. Just a little pulling it together here. Also the bacon is in the refrigerator waiting for us. And we will also get the seasonings together. Probably just get a pair of scissors to help me here. And I have scissors in the kitchen today. We got 3 pairs. We are living large when we have scissors aplenty. Okay. We are going to use the air fryer and also the stove, probably a slow cooker or 2 as we get going into our different meal preps today. And if you don't see me wash my hands every time, just know, on camera, off camera, I will be constantly washing my hands. We're gonna get the meat chopped down and going first, and then we will clean things up and I will work on fruit. And I have, of course, a fruit fly in my face. Of course that would happen. So it is a beautiful day here in Virginia. I feels like it's in the 90s now all of a sudden. Very humid, but I have 10,000 steps in so far. We will see. This meal prep might take the rest of my energy for the rest of today, and that is okay. I'm just gonna work on unpacking some of these chicken breasts here right now. I got a lot of walking in this morning while it was still pretty cool, and we got air conditioners aplenty in the house, so it feels good in here. But I am hopeful that this evening, I'd love to be done with this. It's about 2 now, And I'd love to just get as much cooking as we can done until about 6 or 7. Remember, me cooking in my kitchen takes longer than a regular mom cooking in her kitchen because I'm chatting. I'm chatting with friends all around the world while I'm cooking and moving my camera and doing my one-man show production stuff, haha. But I'm also processing a lot of food, and it just takes a lot of time. But just like I was telling my folks this morning, I'm prepping all this food today. It's a Thursday when I'm filming this, and I said, well, I probably won't be doing any more big cooking till Monday or Tuesday next week. We will have a plenty to choose from. That's why I want to do at least 24 cups of cooked rice. I did that last week when I did a bunch of tacos. We used it all in our taco meat. But that's a good bit to have because, again, so many and so many more continue to love rice bowls in their different forms. You can really personalize them. So for the bacon wrapped chicken, we're also going to have ranch dressing. Some of them like to dip their bacon wrapped chicken in ranch. You can also use any other sauce you would like or no sauce at all. I've also done it before where I've done stuffed bacon wrapped chicken. We did that in the air fryer last summer, and that was delicious. Okay, so I'm gonna get going with this first bunch of chicken here. And then I will need to get my bowl of seasoning out and the bacon. I'm analyzing chicken cuts. This will just be totally eyeballing. Okay. And so over the next several days, my family will have choices of bacon wrapped chicken, also Parmesan Brussels sprouts. I additionally would like to get some broccoli on a sheet pan and do some sheet pan broccoli. We're going to do a batch of chocolate chip keto cookies in the air fryer. And I'm going to prep a mega amount, but it'll be gone in a few days, of fresh watermelon and cantaloupe. Additionally, we will have the steak bites and the rice. And if for any reason in a few days, if we have any of this protein left, I will freeze what's left and it'll be upcoming dinners. But even 27 pounds of meat divided by 10 people over the next several days disappears very, very quickly. And I'm probably going to share some portions with a neighbor as well, just because they're a full-time caretaker and it's nice to share. So really, it's meal prep for about 13. Thank you to Tyfer for sponsoring today's video. Jam Fam, today while I'm working on this meal prep, I'm also using the new Tyfer Dome 2 air fryer for several recipes throughout the day. And honestly, it's been fun experimenting with all the different things this thing can do. I've been working through making air fryer bacon wrapped chicken tenders, steak bites, Brussels sprouts, and even keto cookies in it, which really tells you this is more than just a basic air fryer situation. One of the coolest things about the Tyfer Dome 2 is the 360-degree heating technology with heating elements on both the top and the bottom. So food cooks really evenly, and I'm not constantly stopping to flip and shake everything around. It also has 15 cooking functions, including air fry, bake, roast, broil, pizza, steak, wings, reheat, and more. So it really covers a lot of cooking needs in one appliance. Another thing I noticed right away is how quiet it is compared to a lot of other air fryers. Sometimes those things just sound like a jet engine in your kitchen, and this one really doesn't. And honestly, the self-cleaning feature alone is pretty amazing because it helps break down grease and grime with high heat, which makes cleanup easier afterwards. It even connects with the Tyfer app, where their AI can help generate recipes based on what you want to cook. With Father's Day coming up, this would be a really great gift idea for the dad or cooking guy in your life who loves kitchen gadgets and trying new recipes because it's something that actually gets used all the time. The Tyfer Dome 2 air fryer is at its lowest price of the year right now. Use code JMorell on the Tyfer website for extra savings, or check the links below for the best available deal. And thank you again to Tyfer for sponsoring today's video. So I'm going to do in a bowl some chili powder, some salt and pepper, ground mustard, and brown sugar. I'm using the Swerve brown sugar replacement. It's 0 sugars and calories, keto-friendly, 1-for-1 measures like brown sugar. We're going to sprinkle this over each piece of chicken, wrap it in bacon, and then get each batch going through the air fryer. Okay, so I've got soap, hot soapy water on my sheet pans over there. And I washed my scissors. Now I'm going to get into this bacon. And we will start this bacon wrap chicken assembly line. And then next up, while I'm in the meat chopping frame of mind this afternoon, we will work on that sirloin roast and get those pieces of sirloin through the air fryer and keep on trucking. Almost bacon. Good job. This was a big 4-pound pack of bacon from the John Henry General Store. I think it was $19. So when I saw that the other day, I was like, yep, I know what meal prep project that will be good for. Okay. Put my towel down this way, and then I'm just going to, well, fill the pieces, fill the air fryer basket there with our pieces. Okay. Probably just do a couple at a time like this. And while we have this other raw meat and the air fryer's going, I'll get this. I've got a shelf cleared at the bottom of my refrigerator. It can hang out on. I'm just going to sprinkle our mixture here, and then we will wrap the bacon around it and probably sprinkle a little more. There is a recipe I'm following as inspired by. I'll link it down below. I'm not following their recipe exactly, but it just shows how you can use what you have on hand, make the best of it. Like I substituted brown sugar for the Swerve brown sugar. And I'm just going to wrap my bacon around. And then I can even take some of the seasonings, put it on top. There's number 1. Next on the assembly line. And so when I've done the stuffed bacon wrapped chicken before, I just do a slice down the middle of the chicken breast or chicken tenderloin, and then stuff it with a cream cheese mixture. And I have whipped up that cream cheese mixture and added some other seasonings to it, and it's very delicious. Okay. me move this bacon down. Move it on down so we have evenly distributed bacon. There we go. Alrighty, so I'm gonna get our bacon in there. And let's see, I'm gonna do 400 for 10 minutes. And then we'll check. Okay, so we've got the first batch of bacon wrapped chicken going. Man, that air fryer is quiet. If you hear anything in this kitchen, I got my air conditioner running, and of course my big refrigerator makes noises sometimes. But we're gonna chop the sirloin next, and I thought while we do that, we could have our rice going. I want to end up with about 24 cups of cooked rice, so I'm gonna get the water going now. Then we'll add, I think I have long grain white rice. We'll add that rice to it, let it do its thing, so we will have a nice batch of fluffy rice to do various high protein bowls with too. So we're gonna do non-expert, non-butcher shop experience, but I have raised and butchered my own chickens, okay? I have done that. So I've also helped a goat deliver. I was a goat midwife, that's it. Helped one of my goats. I pulled a baby goat. I've done that. I've birthed babies. I've breastfed for over 20 years. I've done some things. So certainly me and the Jam Fam can figure out how to cut a sirloin roast. I apologize to all of my professional meat cutters for anything wrong I'm about to do, but I just need to cube this into 1-inch-ish bites. So let's figure this out, right? See how this goes. I am so proud of me and us for just saying, hey, sheet pans. I think you all told me to use my sheet pans, and I heard you from afar when I was getting this video going today. Oh, I just love beef in all its forms, and I love beef fat. Okay, wow, okay, so we've got 2 sections here. I thought it was just one huge thing. That's cool, that's convenient. Okay, this will look like a bit like a crime scene, but we're doing it. Again, there's like no noise from this thing. It's wild. I hear a little beeping at the end. And again, I love the fat. I love the fat. Ribeyes are my favorite. Ribeyes are my love language. Yeah, so I'm going to fry those up for myself. Although I think I've trained all the people who look like me to really like big, chunky, fat pieces. I will say I've got one because we've had so many years where I've bought a full cow. And so I have one of my kiddos in particular who really likes filet mignon and really likes cutting the fat off of their steak. And I always say, that's fine, sweetie, just save the fat. A lot of us, I love to do beef fat in the air fryer. And I think over on the Lion's Diet, on that website, they call them crispy things. That's the recipe over there. And they just share about, and that's where I learned originally to fry up different protein fat pieces. And yeah, it's just delicious. So I'm trying to get some fat. So there will be no fat trimming from me, okay? Okay, this was pretty intimidating to look at, but it's working out pretty good. It has a nice piece of fat on the back. Delicious. Okay. Well, now I feel like I'm going to do some of these bigger chunks and then slice them down. That's how it is with cooking. Some things look intimidating or feel intimidating, and then when I get into it, it's like, okay, that wasn't as intimidating as it should have felt. And I've learned doing all this cooking and all these recipes over the year, you just take it one ingredient and one recipe at a time. All right, so that first batch of bacon wrapped chicken turned out delicious. It smells delicious. Guess I'm just going to wrap this one real quick. Always gotta find the workflow again. So I'm gonna get this last little piece that got seasoned last time, but did not make it in. So I'm just gonna set up my assembly line again. I didn't even count how many we got in that first air fryer load. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I'm gonna say 12. 2, 4, 6, 8. Maybe we'll plan for 10. Okay, pretty good there. And what was my workflow? I think I sprinkled this on all of them. See, I forget easily. It's okay. That's what trauma brain does to you. You just, sometimes simple things, it's like, wait a minute, where did that go? One of the things that I have learned, because you always got to get a little what J. Morrell's learning about healing and therapy as I'm cooking, is that ADHD symptoms, or what can appear to be ADHD, is actually a brain that has been through trauma. ADHD and people who've been through traumatic experiences. And I may not even be thinking of all my words correctly, but there can be some overlap. So if I look a little extra ADHD to you at times, I have thought before, oh, maybe I have ADHD. And I didn't even learn about ADHD really and what it meant for high-performing women until Shailene Johnson, who's a wonderful, very successful online entrepreneur. And I always think of Shailene as like my big sister, who I'd like to be in the future. Believe she might be in her late 50s, and I am in my late 40s. And so it's always wonderful to have other successful women just a little bit farther down the line as inspiration. And Shailene talks about her ADHD, so that's where I got some general information on it, and how a lot of very successful, even 8-figure earning entrepreneurs. This is Shailene's information, so please go look to Shailene for all the answers and research. But how many also have ADHD. And then for me, when I started trauma and grief therapy, and I started to even ask my own therapist, if she thought I had ADHD, just if I could be assessed and learn different tools if I needed to. I obviously get a decent amount of things done, and then I also sometimes just totally lose track of simple things. But that's when I learned, and I feel like I'm telling you very ineloquently while I wrap this bacon around this chicken, but that's where I learned through working with different professionals and working through my own healing. I just thought it was very fascinating to learn that ADHD-like symptoms can also be a result of CPTSD, PTSD, and other ongoing crisis situations. So life's a lot, right? But let's air fry some chicken. Okay, start. Nice. We're gonna do our next round. So I'm wondering if I could, while I have this out, sorry, I'm stuck to my towel, I could probably prep this and have this, here we go. Now we're cooking with fire. I could probably, since I have this out, go through and prep a lot of this chicken, have it ready on the sheet pan. Who are we? Pull it out, load the air fryer. See, we get into a workflow. It just takes me a little bit of experiencing it. I like that idea. I'm glad you thought of that. So I'm gonna just line up our chicken here, see how far we get. I don't think we're gonna have any extra bacon, but if we did, bacon does not last long around here. It's gonna say I would just air fry up what is left. Okay, chicken, we're just gonna get into like a pretty nice line. We're gonna have like 5 or 6 batches of this. Can you all? Okay. Maybe if we squish on down a little. Feel like I'm playing raw chicken Tetris here. Something new, huh? I don't know that we have played raw chicken Tetris before. I think we're doing it. I think I've almost won. I don't know what I win. I think I win a bunch of bacon wrapped chicken. Okay, here's a little questionable pile. I'm gonna pull the questionable pile pieces out for a minute. See, okay, we really almost have it. Anyone else got room for a friend? Maybe down here. Okay, that's pretty good. Now, I like it when we find a decent workflow. That is nice. So I was thinking in the slow cooker, I have some sweet potatoes that need used up. Thought we would do some of those, but I haven't got to washing them yet. I really should do that. But I put the steak, the sirloin, back in the fridge for a few minutes while we do this. And we will wash and switch places again. I just realized our water's boiling and we need to add the rice, but also samples. So good. So very good. So we'll be gone so quickly. Okay. Okay, so chew the bacon. It's 12 cups of rice, and we'll end up with 24 cups of cooked rice. And also, as an example, you all know I've done food storage buckets over the years. This is white rice, 20 pounds from July 2022. So I'll use that, and then I'll refill it. It has the oxygen absorber I put in it, and I also sealed it in Mylar, and I have several videos over here and over in my Large Family Table community doing the food storage buckets. Also in the background, our pot of rice cooked up lovely. I just turned the heat off, and I'm going to let it sit there and like it with the lid on, and we're going to get back to chopping through all this sirloin. But I tell you, we're almost halfway there, and we're going to keep on chopping, and at the end, it's going to be so delicious. And I'm looking at this almost 8 pounds of sirloin, and I'm thinking, I mean, this is a 24-hour meat, really, really. It's fast, quick, and in a hurry, as we love to say. It is going to be well loved and consumed for healthy protein, for healthy growing bodies, and then it'll be on to the next protein, but they are going to love this. So yes, this is a lot of steak chopping, but we're getting through it. We're doing pretty good. I wasn't expecting all of this delicious fat. I know the sirloin cuts I've gotten in the past have had some fat, but probably because I'm here dealing with almost 8 pounds total, you know, there's a lot of fat to deal with, which I feel like is a bonus. So we like little bonuses when we can get them, and I'm just so excited about getting all of these sirloin steak bites done. And we're just continuing on with our assembly line. And now we've got 24 cups of rice done. We're about halfway through with, how many pounds of chicken was this? I think it was about 20 pounds of chicken breast. So I feel like we're about halfway through. Of course, I didn't have enough bacon to wrap the whole full-size sheet pan in bacon. So I'm just going to bake up the rest of the chicken that is not wrapped in bacon in the air fryer just the same, and that'll be delicious. I think we have a very delicious assembly line going, and this is going to be some yummy, healthy, high protein, massive meal prep for my large family of 10. Okay, chicken assembly line is continuing. I'm going to get these delicious chicken tenders out. I'm just going to set that out so I don't cause any trouble, because if there's trouble, you know I'm in it. Those look delicious. All right, so we still have 2 more rounds probably of chicken left. I have the last load going that has bacon wrapped chicken, and then just some regular chicken breast slices with seasoning. And the almost 8 pounds of sirloin steak bites are in the refrigerator waiting their turn. So we're gonna start doing some fruit prep now. I'm excited, and I'm gonna do it all. 4 watermelons, 4 cantaloupe. It'll give us a lot of fruit over the next few days, and that'll be great. And I have been washing these sheet pans as we go. So, and I washed our knife. But just like with the meat, I might end up overflowing into 2 sheet pans. Every time I'm done with a round of meat in this air fryer, I've just been dumping the grease into this bowl. So that's just a little extra thing on the island here. Okay, yeah, we'll probably just focus on watermelon, and then I will focus on cantaloupe. I'm gonna get another towel out. And I've already, because some of my guys just got back from an equestrian camp today. Just a day camp, not an overnight camp. Anyway, we've already had some additional bacon wrapped samples go out. Let's see, I'll probably just put this here. We'll see how it ends up feeling. So I just brought up these larger aluminum pans. I don't even remember what size these are. Honestly, I feel like I got these at the Forest House. I was doing a lot of like large size baked macaroni for church events and meals and such. But anyway, I still had these in my basement. They haven't been used, so I'm just soaking them. There's 4 here. And then I also brought up some extra meal prep containers. I'm just going to let these soak, and I'm going to wash them because these are also sharing with 2 other families. It'll be small portions compared to what my family eats, but I should be able to put like a couple bacon wrapped chicken and some steak bites and some rice, and then some watermelon and cantaloupe. And that'll be for a family of 2, and that'll probably be like dinner for them. And then there's another family that I'll do some more steak bites and a few of the bacon wrapped chicken, and then maybe this container full of rice. And I have another container. I thought I brought up a 3rd one. Okay, maybe I was thinking I was going to put the rice in here because this is a bigger one. So rice and protein, and then some fruit there. Unless I have 3. Okay, yes, I think that's what I was doing. So we're just going to let those soak right now, and I'll get back to hand washing those out some more here shortly. Okay, so we are finally getting to these watermelons. It's been a lot of mom life stuff and things. My 2 elementary guys are back from their equestrian day camp today. So they are doing crafting and Legos. And whew, that looks delicious. Okay. And I feel like I've probably cut 300 watermelons in my life. I don't know, maybe more than that. Many watermelons on this channel, but it's been a little bit. So I got to get my workflow down for how we're going to do this today. Okay, and I might by the 4th one be like, oh yeah, I'd rather do it this other way here. So just going to get into it and get going. But if we have chunked up watermelon, we will eat it. Okay, yes, I'm getting back to my rhythm here. So in the past, I've sliced them like this, and then I go over and I slice them again, and then I slice around the rind, and that just drops them out in nice little bite-sized squares. Ha ha ha, it's coming back. Now, our first 2 watermelons of this year, I had my 17-year-old cut. Now I just had this chicken ding. Very good. Okay. Looks very delicious. I'm just deciding where I want to put this. I think I will move some things around here, drop my pieces on that sheet pan, and then we'll put it in those other containers. I still need to wash those. I think I sliced this already. So there you go, watermelon. We have 2 sugar baby watermelons, 1 just red watermelon, and 1 yellow watermelon. I also like to get what I can out of the rind. This makes me miss chickens because, well, just all farm animals. Even my pigs I would give these to. That's okay. We can do that again another day. It's definitely a fun part of life. Samples though. Okay. Air fryer's going. Again, it's so quiet. I have to look at it to make sure it's actually running. Right, we got the last round of chicken going in, and then we're gonna start our steak party. Yeah, we are just getting down and getting happy processing all of this fruit. I am chopping through the 4 watermelons we got at the John Henry General Store, and I'm so glad I got them. You know, I got a bunch of produce at first, put it in my car, I think it was $74 worth, and I'm like, I'm going to regret if I get home today without my very precious watermelons, because I don't care for having scrambled eggs or spaghetti. In the summertime, I will have a watermelon sliced and ready to go, and we'll set it out with a meal or we'll have it in the refrigerator just for fresh fruit options. 'Tis the season. Go get yourself some watermelons, some red watermelons, some yellow watermelons for a little variety. It's a whole lot of fun. I even think there's some orange ones out there, although I haven't seen those yet this year. And we all know I'm not growing them this year. Also, the cantaloupe was delicious, and it's just something else easy and something else that says it's summertime, and we are so excited for calling it summer around here. We have our pool passes activated. We've taken fresh fruit with us to the pool. In this particular meal prep, I can tell you from the future that this fruit lasted a couple days, and it was so convenient to just scoop out a bowl of fresh cantaloupe and fresh watermelon to go with any meal. I had several bowls on various walks over the following days, and it's this prepping time that I took on this day that helped make it all possible. Also, in this massive air fryer meal prep video, I was hopeful, super hopeful, that I would get sheet pan broccoli done, get those sweet potatoes done in the slow cookers, and get some other things prepped. So I didn't get it all done. Can you believe that? But I know you hang with me, you listen to my plans and my to-do list, and boy, we sure get something done better than nothing, right? We get a few things done around here. Yes, we do. So we do get tons and tons of meat, almost 30 pounds of meat cooked through and prepped that fed my family for several days. I also, that bulk rice was super, oh, we did get something done like that. We got the bulk rice done. And so over the next several days, we scoop several cups at a time. I know I liked having about a cup or 2 of rice, and then I would put the bacon wrapped chicken tenders on top of it and microwave it, and I would add some Frank's Red Hot and a little bit of ranch dressing. It was a whole delicious thing. And then I'd cool that off with some watermelon after, and that is my idea of a good time. Also, the Brussels sprouts we do and the cookies that you're going to see coming up, I mean, those did not last a couple days. Those were gone fast, quick, and in a hurry for sure. And here's how our last pan of the chicken breast turned out. There have been so many bacon wrapped chicken samples, and even though it doesn't look like there's been a dent in the full-size sheet pan watermelon, there's been quite a few watermelon samples going down. So next, we're going to do those cantaloupe real quick here. I'm going to drain this and wash it, and then we'll get going with our steak bites. To have some red and yellow watermelon mixed up. The yellow's very good as well. And then I'll have a separate, just regular size mixing bowl, not sure my measurements right now, of the watermelon that's left. But I thought I would do this big container. You know what? Maybe we will use, I know what we'll do. We will mix the watermelon that's left with the cantaloupe. We got it. Okay, that is good. I put it on a sheet pan just because these pans are flimsy, but they do the job. And we need to check these steak bites. Well, those look delicious. Okay. Let me get another container for those. So, surprise. I know you're surprised. No, I know members of the Gym Fam are not surprised. My afternoon meal prep has become a 2-day meal prep, and that's how that goes because I love my lovely plans. I was going to be done, of course, by 6 p.m., completely done with everything I was going to cook, and I was going to lay in the hammock for 2 hours and read and journal. I always have lovely plans, and sometimes I hit some combination of almost hit that plan, or maybe I only get an hour or 30 minutes, or maybe not at all. And I also base all my decisions on life on how I feel and if my body's telling me we're done and we need rest. So about 6 p.m., I was nowhere near done because mom life and the stuff and the things. And I pushed for about 30 more minutes. I thought, come on, you're almost done. You can keep going. Maybe tonight is the night you go till 8, right? And then you still get to bed nice and early and it's all good. Well, 6:30 rolled around and my body said, nope, clocking out, I'm done. So I took some time to pack up the fruit we had chopped, and I decided with our steak bites that we at least chopped through almost 8 pounds of the sirloin roast yesterday. I decided since that was going to sit covered in the refrigerator overnight, I was going to put a marinade on it. And so I had a bottle of Primal Kitchen Green Goddess dressing and marinade and avocado oil. I had not used that on steak bites before, but I thought, let's. So I poured that whole bottle on it. I mixed it around well. I covered it. I put it in the refrigerator overnight. And that is what our steak bites have become, using what we have on hand and making the best of it. So I'm taking some time on this second day to get cooking through those steak bites while also juggling my 5-year-old, handling some work things, and getting the day going here. Alrighty, so I got our big pan of steak bites into the refrigerator for now. I have everything set out to do our Parmesan and Brussels sprouts, but I have a phone call, let it always be something. I have a phone call in about 20 minutes. So before that got going, I thought, well, maybe I can slice down all of this cantaloupe in that 20-minute window. So I'm hopeful we can do these things. And then after my call, we will roll through the Brussels sprouts, and I also want to do the keto cookies in the air fryer. So I'm hopeful we're making good progress. Beautiful day outside, although humidity is really kicking in Virginia. It's it's 90 and humid, so I don't know, Virginia or Florida, right? So what my plan is, I'm going to slice these cantaloupe down, scoop the seeds out. I'll probably scoop the seeds actually into this bigger bowl because it's just what's in front of me. We'll put the cantaloupe slices in here, and later we will mix that with our watermelon. So we're just continuing on. I'm glad I stopped last night. My brain and body were done. And that's just how it goes with me sometimes these days, I'm trucking right along, but it's been several hours, and nope, we're done. Time to wind down. So I did get a hot Epsom salt bath. I walked for maybe 15 minutes, then hot Epsom salt bath. Did not get any journaling or reading done, which are very important for me, but I have been listening through again the Anne of Green Gables series. I'm back on Anne of Avonlea. My elementary school boys and I listened through Anne of Green Gables a few weeks ago, and they're on now listening through the Green Ember series again. But I'm continuing on with Anne because once I get going in her story, she's one of those fictional characters that I just love so much, and I want her to not be fiction. So we've got to see how it all works out, Anne, although I know how her story works out because I've listened through it and read the physical books through it so many times. So I'm just going to get each cantaloupe sliced and the seeds scooped out. Again, chickens would love this. Now, actually, I hadn't thought of this. I have a neighbor. I can't expect her to take all my chicken scraps all the time, but she might actually not mind these cantaloupe seeds for her chickens. So I will mention that to her. So last night, hot bath, Anne of Avonlea, just so tired I couldn't even read or journal. But I always like to listen to something good. I do have books on hormone health and gut health I'm listening to, but just haven't been in the mood to listen to metabolic type health books for probably the last 2 weeks. I've just wanted more fiction, and I've gone with that. So I definitely love to have health books going. And then there's just times I want to hear something else. And other times where I'm like, I devour a metabolic health book within 48 hours. Physical book-wise, I'm still reading through I Belong to Me. I do hope to have some poolside reading time this weekend. That is my friend Tia Leving's most recent book. I'm also listening to a book called Icy Sparks. I believe that's the title. That's the main character's name. And she has Tourette syndrome, in the late 1950s. So I'm only a couple chapters into that, but I know it's a good book if I'm doing other things and if I wonder how the characters are doing, or if I'm wondering how their day is going, or I kind of feel like they're frozen in there and they need me to keep reading to help them get through. And so that's where I know, okay, this is a good book. I'm going to finish washing out this air fryer pan. I let that sit while I had my phone call. Didn't need to, doesn't need to soak for that long, but that's just what life decided for me. So we're gonna scrub that out. Then we're gonna wash and cut our Brussels sprouts. Now, the recipe that I was inspired by for these Parmesan Brussels sprouts uses melted butter. I am going to use avocado oil. There was a few, I think it also called for red chili flakes. I'll link it for you down below. Sounds delicious. I don't think, red pepper flakes, that's what I'm talking about. I don't think all my folks would appreciate that with all our ages and stages, although I think it's delicious. So I'm just gonna do a few little adaptations here and make it work for us. We could melt butter and I could do that. I just have avocado oil in a bottle ready to go, and I don't have to walk back and forth to my microwave and do one more step. So I just thought, we'll roll it in some avocado oil. That should work just as wonderful. Alrighty. Whew. Okay, so we're just gonna rinse these off. And sorry, I think I hiccuped there a little bit. Rinse these off. We are getting ready to have another huge thunderstorm. So much heat, so much humidity, and power was out, not here at our house, but in the area last night. We did have some tree branches down. We've always had a lot of really big, dangerous trees on this property. That's why I've had to pay so much to have the trees that were all around the house removed after I had a tree come through the roof for bonus points when I was living my worst nightmare in fall 2023. For extra fun, I was out filming grocery shopping one evening and a tree just came through the back. Now, yes, insurance covered that roof repair. However, I'm trying to think how many trees. One, two, I think I had 6 or 7, like several 100-year-old giant trees that were all around the house had to come out after that, because I was like, I can't be here alone with a bunch of kids, with a bunch of people who look like me, and we've already had one tree come through the roof. What else is coming? And the one tree that they did not remove whenever I paid to have all those trees from emergency savings, right? All of those trees removed. There was one tree, and I think I showed it in a video spring 2024-ish. The one tree they didn't take out because they said when that tree falls, don't worry, it's going to fall away from the house. It did fall a few months later in the spring, and thankfully it all worked out. It fell away from the house. So get me talking about storms and I'll get talking about all the tree drama we've had around here. All right, so we're gonna try to make this easy. So this was, well, now I gotta look at the bags. Okay, these were 2-pound bags of Brussels sprouts. We have 4 pounds of Brussels sprouts total, and I'm going to slice the bottoms off, just take off any little weird dead leaves along the sides, and then slice them in half, because that is fun. And then we'll just plop them all in this bowl. Plop, that's our cooking term. Then we are going to pour in, we're going to eyeball the amount of avocado oil and salt and pepper, and sprinkle in some shaved Parmesan and run them through the air fryer. And these will be so delicious. And like I say, there's a proper recipe that I'm using for inspiration linked below. And in her recipe, they do melted butter, and they also do in red pepper flakes. Just gonna rinse this out. I just walked all our leafy cutoffs out to the tall grass. Again, everything makes me miss chickens. So let's see here. So this is just eyeballing school as we do. I'm gonna eyeball the avocado oil. Nice, nice, nice. And let's see, let me also spray this. Might not be necessary, just on my little to-do list in my head steps. Now I'm going to eyeball the pepper and try to behave myself with the salt. This is a half teaspoon, so there you go, 2 teaspoons total. Sound pretty good. And then this shaved Parmesan sounds like a good time. We're just guessing here. We're going with what feels right. I think one more is what my soul says. Okay. Now we'll just see how this all mixes up. Get around there, Parmesan. Looks delicious to me already. So this will be 2 or 3 batches through this air fryer. I need to look at the recipe again. Again, these recipes will be linked down below. Plus you see how I'm modifying them in different ways. I believe she said 5 to 7 minutes, but I'm gonna get it going and then I'll adjust as needed. This is just big handfuls in the air fryer. probably pretty good, but that looks very nice. Okay, let me... Looks good. Did we start? Cook. Nice. Okay, so I looked at the recipe. It said about, could be 15 to 20 minutes at 400 total. So they are smelling delicious. That is for sure. So now we're going to do a recipe for a giant keto chocolate chip cookie in the air fryer. So delicious. Each giant cookie is about 4 servings. I'm going to do this for fun, and if it works out well, I'll do a couple of them. Alrighty, and again, this recipe will be linked down below. So it says 2/3 of a cup of almond butter, not almond butter. Almond butter is always on the brain. Almond flour. This will look like little precious amounts in this bowl. 3 tablespoons of brown sugar replacement. You know I like swerve. Two teaspoons of collagen peptides. This is from Costco. See, I may not have opened this one before. It says, pull here, don't twist, you got this. Okay, I don't know that I have this. I don't know that I did. Lid stays attached. Oh, yes, okay, I have opened this before. I go through seasons where I use like collagen in my coffee every day and such, and then seasons where I don't touch it at all. Okay, so there's that. Then 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda. Let's see, I think I have a 1/2 teaspoon in here. I know this will be painful for some. Pinch of salt while we're here. Let's do a little speck of salt there. 1 large egg yolk. Three tablespoons of butter, and I'll have to measure out my butter because I originally had tripled this recipe and I melted 9 tablespoons of butter, and then I was like, okay, I need to just do the 1 giant cookie at a time measurements. And vanilla. And let me see, they want 2 tablespoons sugar-free chocolate chips. And I just dumped it all together. So gather the dough into a ball and place on parchment paper about 5 inches in diameter. Okay, so I know you haven't seen me much today. I feel like in today's video, I've been working on these other projects here and there. So now I have my tired mom voice. But that's how it goes sometimes. Let's see if I can get this all mixed up in this really big bowl. Can you all come together for me here? Work together. I'm probably just going to mix this with my bare hand here for a few minutes. Seems like the thing to do. Now, I think I might be out of parchment paper. Probably send someone downstairs to check. So this cookie is supposed to cook at about 310 in the air fryer for 8 to 10 minutes. And it says until puffed and golden brown. So this should be a lot of fun. I mean, it's a cookie, right? Looks like a giant cookie in there, just in a giant bowl. Now, for extra fun, I think we're actually out of parchment paper. I don't know how that happened because I love me some parchment paper, but I did send my 15-year-old back down to check the shelf one more time. He was pretty sure we were out, and I said, just go look one more time for me, because I thought I had 3 down there a few weeks ago when I eyeballed it, and that could have been a few months ago, and I use it all the time, so we very well could be out. If so, we'll just cook it on this rack. We'll see what the verdict is. All right, there is 1 box of parchment paper left. We are victorious. But that means I need to stock up on my parchment paper, right? Okay, giant cookie. This one might actually hold 2 of these cookies, but let's follow the directions mostly, right? Maybe this time. Okay. Oh, I'm unplugged. That's why. Plug in your air fryer. It works better. Okay, 310. And while that's going, let's see, I think that was 310. There we go. That's going. I'm gonna do it all again. I had this stevia out, and that is not needed. So I do need to rinse some things though real quick. Okay. Okay, so I should get the recipe back out. You can probably tell me, I believe it was 2/3 of a cup almond flour. Go back up. Okay, doing it again. We'll have a little bit of egg whites left, so 2/3. Of course, I'm thinking, what if I just double everything now and get the dough ready to make 2 giant cookies? That sounds nice. Let's do that. We'll divide them in half. I'm not gonna do all the math. I'm just gonna do double of everything because I don't know if my mouth can get it out. But I know this is 6 more tablespoons of melted butter because I was gonna do a triple batch to begin with. Okay. Collagen. I'm gonna do 4 tablespoons. So look at how fun this turned out. Delicious. Alrighty, the moment of truth. I got 2 cookies in there also. It's very nice and hot and gooey. Let's see, best way to get into it. Whoops. Oh, it's very good. It's too hot to pick up, but that won't stop me. It tastes like a brown butter cookie with chocolate chips in it. I think this one maybe needed 2 more minutes, or it might firm up more. It's not stopping me though. You can just carry on while I eat this cookie. So I ate all around the edges of this cookie, no problem. I'm gonna put this last part, although it's firming up, that might not need to go back in. Here's how the 2 giant keto cookies turned out. Cooking them side by side like this. So we did it. We processed so much fruit and so much meat, and we even made a pot full of rice ahead, and we've made delicious high protein summer meals for my large household of 10 using mainly this very fun air fryer in this massive meal prep video. I appreciate you being here with me. All the recipes I used and I was inspired by, I will link down in the description below. We have many more adventures coming up. I appreciate you, and I'll see you real soon with another brand new video. Bye-bye. And thank you again to Teifer for sponsoring today's video.